Hi everybody, this is Harmony at Harmony Stitches, and I just want to thank you for stopping back by to see the latest in my crafting adventures. Here on this channel we talk about cross stitch and knitting, and then sometimes a little bit of crochet. Crochet used to actually be my go-to craft, but over the last couple of years I have enjoyed knitting a lot, and I picked up cross stitch again a couple years ago and found that it's my thing. I really love doing it. So thank you so much to join me today. I didn't have any purchases this week except for a little bit of floss to go with the Alice in Wonderland sale with Owl Forest Embroidery, which I'll show you those in a minute. But otherwise, we're just going to go right ahead and get into the whips that I was working on this week and show you what I have gotten done. The wheel spin last week for whips. If you're new to my channel, I spin a wheel and on an app to see what whip I'm going to work on this week, and then I also spin one to see what new start I'm gonna do. So this last week, I spun the wheel, and it was Knock Knock by Prairie Schooler. I'll show you this first. This is what I thought it said what book number, but this was one of 5 small Halloween charts that was released. You know, they're retired now, but they were released a couple years ago. And I was actually able to get it finished. I know that I said I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but I was able to pull it out. I think the reason why I was able to get this done is because I had the house almost all the way complete, and that it's a pretty large house. Then these 2 panels are pretty finicky just because of all the starts and stops. The back stitching didn't take very long, and I got it done. So that's all 5 of those little charts are now complete. I do plan on, I think the beginning of June, or maybe the end of June, the last Sunday, I will show you all of the items that I have finished thus far in the first 6 months of the year. And then we'll do it again at the end of the year to show you what I have completed July through December. Because with your guys' help in spinning these wheels, I've actually gotten a lot done. Okay, my new start, as you remember, I chuckled and laughed because it's a Prairie Schooler Halloween. But it's a full-size chart this time, and it's called Witching Hour. I started on the big one. And I remember going back and forth whether or not to use the orange that was called for or the orange in this other charts because it was different. I went ahead, since I bought the orange that it called for, I went ahead and started using that, so that way, you know, all the called for colors on the Prairie Schooler. I'm going to fold my material. This is where I've got this week. So I finished the tree on the right side. I got the word yes done, I finished the pumpkin, and I'm almost done with the owl. I know his head looks kind of funky, but he's got eyes to go in there still. And then right here is the gray, and that's the smoke from the chimney in the house off the right side of the house. So I put a couple more strands in this last night to finish up the smoke and the owl, and that's how far I got, which isn't that bad because I was keeping track. From the bottom of the tree, not part of the fence, but just the tree itself, up to the bottom of the arms was 9 strands of floss. And then, I don't know, a couple for the rest. Sometimes, you know, you waste floss when you do things like that because of the starting and stopping, but that's okay. But I was really impressed with, that's almost halfway of the height of the piece too, so. I did pull out a small piece of the fabric for the littles, but I don't think it's going to be big enough for both of them. I have to measure again. This is how big it is. It just depends on the margins that you leave. It should be big enough, but I'm not quite sure. So if not, then I think I have a bigger piece in my stash box, so I'll go and get that later. I am using all of the called for floss in this. If you want to see it, it is 37, oh, I didn't write it on here, 3787, which is a dark gray. I think it kind of has a green undertone to it. 3826, which is the called for orange, 898, which is the brown, and then 310, the black. I don't know where it went. Here it is. 310. So just 4 colors, but they look so well together, and that's one reason why I decided to just go ahead and use the orange that was called for, because it would look good with the brown and the black. Well, of course, everything goes with black. All right, let me put this away. And then the Owl Forest Embroidery Alice in Wonderland sale started on Friday. I was going to coffee and tea dye some fabric for it, and I did. I forgot to grab it and bring it in here to show you. But I got some couple dark spots, I put it in the oven too long. So I didn't think that it was appropriate for this particular project. So I did dig around in my stash and found this fabric. This is from that box that I was gifted, so I don't really know what it is. This is the color. It's 36 count. I counted over and over and over again. It's 36 count, and this is how far I've gotten. I think this is kind of like a flower box, and then this will be the arbor that goes around and then I will have flowers on it. So I didn't get very far, but I am using 1 strand over 2 threads of the fabric. It is 36 count, and I'm doing it in hand, and I think that's why it's taking me so long. But the orange here, the bottom green stripe, and this took me 2 episodes of This Is Us, and then probably about another 15 minutes. So I was like, it seems like it's taking me forever. I don't know. It is what it is. There's 19 parts, and each part comes out every 2 weeks. So I have 2 weeks to finish it up. It's average of about 1,200 stitches each part, if you divide out the total number of stitches. So it'll be fine. I'll get it done, and if I don't get it done, I'll catch up the next time. So I'm sure that some parts are actually going to be a little bit larger than others, or more dense in stitches than others, because this one's not very dense at all. On this fabric, I wanted to show you, I got this big box from a D-Stash site. A lady was just giving away fabric, and she gave away 3 boxes. And I got this piece, and it had this flower stitched on it. And it looks complete to me. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I don't really want to throw it away. But that's a lady stitching right there. And it wasn't hers, the lady that gave the boxes away. Her family member had passed away, I think, and she wanted to clear out the supplies, and that's why she gave them away. So one of her family members actually stitch that, and I don't want to throw it away. So if anybody has any ideas of what I could do with that piece, I did incorporate that into, don't worry, I measured from the top of the flower up to the other side of the piece. I took it into consideration when I measured. So far, on this piece, we're using, on this section, I mean, we're using these 4 colors. DMC, oops, sorry, I'm on the wrong side. DMC 3776, which is the orangey color. DMC 221, which will be the flowers. Sorry, I'm like, what? DMC 471, I already had this in my stash, and they gave you, Owl Forest Embroidery is really cool because they give you the stitch counts for each color. So you're able to figure out, roughly, depending on your tension and stuff, you can figure out how many, and it also tells you yards used. So you can figure out how much of a skein you're going to need. So since I already had that in my stash, I knew it was going to be enough based on the chart. And then the darker green is 3345. So those are the 4 colors in this section. So it's really pretty. I like it. So usually I don't like stitching over one. I I just don't like it. I like using the loop method, and you can't do that when you're stitching over one. But it's okay. I'm going to work through it. I am really excited to see all of the parts as they come out. And then these are the other colors. Give me 1 second. Hold them up. So I was kind of surprised that there's actually not like a bright red for the roses and the queen. But like I said, you never know what parts of Alice they're going to pull out. So that's another 221. You need a lot of that. So I hope that you join me in videos to come so you can see that develop, because I'm excited to see it develop. They did last year a Wizard of Oz stitch along, and it's quite large, and there's some 1/1 stitching in the faces of like Glinda and the Wicked Witch of the West. There's some 1/1 stitching, and I have done 1/1, but I think if I do, when I do that one, I want to be sure to have some fabric that I can really confidently do that 1/1 stitching, so that way I can just finish it the way that it was charted. They do give you alternatives to do it 2/2 if you want, or 1/2, but I'd really like to try to enhance my skills in the over one stitching. So this is the spot where we spin the wheel. Again, I'm not doing the wheel live on the video because the lighting was really bad and it was unfair to you. And also this way I can prepare all of my pieces and have them ready to go. So here we're gonna do the wheel spin for the whip of the week. Oh, I forgot to show you Pandemic. I'll do that afterwards. Whip of the week is Amazing Grace by Janlyn. This is the kit that I had when I was a teenager, then couldn't find it a couple years ago, but then I found it on eBay. So if you, here, let's see, I'll show you where I'm at right now. Last time, and it wasn't that long ago, I got all of the main stitching done when this came up on my wheel. So I finished all the flowers and the ribbons and then the little verse box down there. That's where I think that's where the chorus is gonna go. My dog is outside in the hallway looking for me. My husband and daughter went disc golfing and he's all by himself. He'll be all right, won't he? So now in the center of all of this goes the words and the staffs. So my daughter and I were just talking before I came up here to film. I think I'm gonna put the staffs in first, all 3 of them, and then put in the notes on top so it looks, so the notes don't get buried in the back stitching. So that's the plan. Since it's all straight lines, I should be able to finish at least one of those this week, and then maybe I'll go ahead and do the words for the chorus. So this one has come up. I told my husband when we were talking about it that I'd really love to actually finish this one this week, so that way it can, 1, be off my wheel, and 2, I can be done with it, because like I talked about before, this isn't necessarily my kind of stitching. I really like the project. I fell in love with it when I was a teenager. That's why I bought it in the first place. I thought it would be a good project to come back to, but I don't like all of the color changes. However, all of that part's done. Now I have back stitching. Even the words shouldn't be that bad because they're simple letters and they're close together. So there's not going to be like big carries in the back. No big floats. So now we have the wheel spin for the new start for the week. And I'll put the video in here. And we came up with Hello Fall from Stitching with the Housewives. I actually stitched this one last fall for a coworker. Her last name is Fox, and she loves foxes. So I'm glad that she really embraced her married name, because it's really fun to stitch her things. I also stitched her Sweater Weather by the Stitching with the Housewives, and it's a fox in a sweater and with snowflakes. So that's really fun. So it's a digital pattern I bought. It's only PDF, so I'll put a picture in here so you can see what it looks like. Sorry, I'm dropping my floss again. I'm having issues with my fingers this afternoon. This one doesn't, the bulk of the stitching is the cup and the fox. So I just pulled colors out of my stash to use up some things. So I have this brown, It's from a previous kit, like it was like Eeyore or something. So I have that brown. I have this like, it's kind of got a brown tone, but it's also kind of red. It's not showing up very well. It's DMC 3857, so if you're familiar with that, that's going to be some of the leaves. Black for the back stitching and the acorns. DMC 166 for some fall leaves. Orange Marmalade by Gentle Arts. This came from these two, both Fragrant Cloves and Orange Marmalade, came from leftovers. I bought a thread pack for the Halloween, what's it called? I'll put it in here. I'll put a picture of it because I can't remember. Halloween, is it called Halloween Sampler by Cottage Garden? So I had all of the fancy floss left over, so even the picket fence is left over, and I think I have enough. Maybe not. I might have to switch this out because that's not very much, and you need quite a few strands to do the cup. So I might not use that, but that's okay. I have some B5200. They actually call for bamboo, but I don't need variegation in the cup, so I like to use what I have. And then DMC 3828 for the bottoms of the acorns. This is going to be the top of the acorns. So I pulled all of this from Stash. You can do that with little charts, and you can make changes. So there was kind of a maroon color called for, so I found this one. It was left over from the Mary 2 sampler from Plum Street Samplers that I did in the fall. Okay, so now we got to go back to pandemic because I forgot that. So, you know, my goal was 8 strands a day or the equivalent of 1.8 pages. I have to move the frame. Oh, I was going to take it off the frame. Let me do that really quickly as we talk about it. Because I wanted to show you. It's time to move it. I got as far over to the left as I thought that was. It actually kind of hurts my back trying to reach over all the way. So, oh, I'm having struggles. So it's time to move this. So after I got to that point, I moved over to a different page to work up. Remember I told you I was going to do that. And I actually got pretty significant progress done on that too. This thing's huge. This is huge. It's like, my husband made me this frame and it's perfect for this project, but it's cumbersome to try to move it around. All right, now I just have to fold this up. Try to get it in the camera so you can see. So this is where I'm at so far. 3 full pages across the bottom, I think. And then at almost 2/3 of a page on the 4th page. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I have my needle sticking out. I was working on it before church, and I stuck my needle in there and forgot about it. So, I stitched this whole motif here, was carrying this border up and over. Oh, I finished this. So that's where I got this week on this page. And then this one, see, it's so big. It's going to be super hard to give you a good idea. So last week I was pretty much here down like this, and then I got all of this done. And I was able to get a little bit farther across here than I was down here, but I'm going to move the frame over so that way the top portions that aren't stitched, that they're still in the frame, so that way I continue to work on those as I work on the page. But so far this month, I think I have the equivalent of 2 whole pages done. So I have, including today, there's 6 days in April. So I think that I may not be able to finish that particular page, but all of my work together this month has equaled 2 pages. So I'll be over that by the end of the week. So that's exciting. And I think as I'm putting 8 strands a day in. The other day I did actually fall asleep in the evening. I had 3 strands to go and I forgot, and I fell asleep and I didn't get them done. But then the next day, I think it was Thursday, I worked really hard to get my 8 strands in for the day and then try to make up some. I lost track. So I may be there, I may be over, I'm not sure, but I'm still pretty much getting the 8 strands. But you would be surprised at how much progress 8 strands gets you. So if you have that project that is kind of overwhelming or cumbersome, make yourself a goal. And if that's all that you can stomach to do on that for whatever reason, if it's confetti stitching or solid stitching or back stitching, something that's not necessarily your cup of tea, or if it feels overwhelming for whatever reason, just make yourself a goal. Say even 1 strand a night, because even 1 strand of floss will give you such a huge impact over time. Make that goal, share it down below, and we'll cheer you on when you get there. So really excited. The other thing I was working on was some knitting. I was doing the dishcloths that I was commissioned by Leslie. She's one of my co-workers. She's on Instagram and Facebook as Bloomer Portraiture. She does, she works with me, but then she does photography on the side. And I say on the side, but she's getting so many clients right now. In her niche, what she's great at, she's great, but she is amazing at doing newborn photo shots. So look her up. I'm going to tag her below. She's amazing with those babies. But she asked after the knit-a-thon if I was going to take orders for dishcloths. So she wanted blue, yellow, and white. I showed you the yarn. I got the 2 blue done. And I actually have a significant amount. I'm stuck here. What is going on today? Who knows? Yeah, my ball band fell off and now it's stuck. Oh, there we go. I actually have a significant amount left. I think this might be able to make 1, or if I have the same amount left in the yellow, then I can make a color black one. So we'll see. I did also finish 1 yellow. So I only have 1 yellow and 1 white to go, and then her order will be complete. I actually started the yellow one before the other yellow before church, and this is how far I got. You ready? You excited? You ready to see it? Literally the cast on in 1 row. That's it. I was debating with myself whether or not to take this to church with me, because right now you have to make a reservation for church because they can only allow so many people on each Sunday. So my family hasn't been going, except for on the days that I actually work with the broadcast team to help stream the service live on YouTube and Facebook or whatever. So, but there's a couple of different times throughout my service in the morning where I have waiting periods. While the worship band takes a break during practice, or while I'm waiting, we went live, but I'm waiting to start the actual service. And I was debating with myself, should I take it or should I not take it? And I didn't. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, like at one point I was sitting there for 7 whole minutes. And I know you're like, 7 minutes, whatever. But I could have gotten so much done on that during that 7 minutes. I'm kicking myself now. But it's okay. They don't take very long. I'll get it done. And next month, if I have another order for dishcloths next month when I go, then I'll just take it. And if I don't have time to work on it, then I won't. But if I do, then awesome. Then I'll get some done. So that's it for this week, except for I told you that I was going to show you the knitted beaded purses that Sue at Victorian Purses by Sue helps people learn how to make. Let me move my clamps out of the way.